Chairman, thank you. I guess I just to try to put a cap on what this conversation has entailed. There is nothing in this budget request, the administration's budget request, that asks for this subcommittee and the full Appropriations Committee to fund an additional competitor in this process. Is that true?
That's correct. It's a very robust request, but the hard reality is that if we want to do competition on down the line of all the landings that need to get started right now, there's going to need to be more money, and I'm suggesting that the jobs bill is a way that you could do that.
Well, Senator, Administrator, I'm not trying to create banter here, but you're having to do the same thing we have to do, which is prioritize our spending. Let me ask about the Artemis landing date. I've seen what you've said in public. The budget request does not contradict or propose a different date from the previous 2024 goal, as far as I can tell. I know that these ambitious goals and timelines often spur motivation, as well as provide a mechanism to incite decisiveness in decision-making. The calendar says 2021, and there is a lot still to be done in order to land our astronauts on the moon. If NASA receives exactly the budget that is being requested for Artemis from the appropriations process, when do you believe we will land astronauts, that first woman, that first person of color on the moon?
I wish I could give you a precise answer. The fact is that 2024 is the goal. Space is hard. And if you look at the history of development of spacecraft and rockets, you often run into situations in which, in fact, there is some unknown that occurs, and you see delays. So we've got to be soberly realistic about this, but the goal is 2024.
And the budget that you're requesting meets that goal? Assuming that the assumptions that are made today, that your budget would meet that goal of 2024? Unless
you want competition. And I've suggested a way in which to do that. Senator, may I add one other complicating factor?
Please.
I think, this is my personal opinion, that I think you're going to see a very aggressive China. You're going to see a Chinese government that understands all the value of the success in space. We've already seen how they are glowing in the afterglow of their landing on Mars with a rover. I think you're going to see an aggressive program of them landing on the moon. I am stating what is out there already in the press. And so I think that's going to become a question for you all as policymakers. What is the value to the United States that we get back to the moon first and get on with this program in preparation to go to Mars?
Did what transpired with the landing by China on the moon, did it change any calculations as to what we are doing at NASA or formulate any additional ideas about technology?
It certainly has my attention, and I have suggested to you in landing on Mars is no small feat, which they did.
Yes, I misspoke. Thank you for correcting me.
And I think you're seeing statements being made by the Chinese government that they don't want to wait around until the 2030s to land on the moon with humans. And tomorrow, as I mentioned in this global conference in St. Petersburg, Russia, we are expecting a statement being made jointly by China and Russia as to what their plans are. Let's see what that is.
You and I had a conversation just briefly before this hearing started, and I was highlighting for you something that I was pleased to know that you already knew. Last December, the Kansas Department of Transportation and the Federal Aviation Administration finalized an agreement to establish the Kansas Supersonic Transportation Corridor for use in testing non-military aircraft that fly faster than the speed of sound. As the first and only such commercial supersonic flight test route in the nation, in our interior, we would welcome NASA to utilize the 770 nautical mile long corridor within our state to further NASA's supersonic efforts. As NASA moves forward in their X-59 testing, can I assume that you will keep me and my staff updated on the selection of flight paths for that X-59, and that ask you that this opportunity that Kansas has helped create be utilized by NASA?
Of course, and Senator, Kansas is to be commended that they are forward-thinking enough to realize that there is the advance of technology, and as we are developing this X-59, so that you could fly supersonic and do it over land as well as over the ocean. What you all are saying is you want that supersonic aircraft to say boom over that corridor that you have created. And what this research is to develop that supersonic aircraft that doesn't go the big boom when it breaks the sound barrier, but that it is a much more muffled sound that does not become a problem in flying supersonic over populated areas.
Mr. Administrator, thank you, and just ask you to allow me the opportunity to highlight for you that capability in Kansas for the X-59 testing. Thank you, Chairwoman.